Pits now has a Patreon. Whether you want to get directly involved with the show, have a product or brand you want to promote, or just want to show support, In the Pits Patreon has tiers for all levels. Head to patreon.com/inthepitspaintballpodcast to check out the supporter, sponsor, and partner tiers. Opening up a Patreon was a level I could never have imagined getting to when starting this show a year ago. And whether I get 1,000 subscriptions or not a single one, I'm still super thankful for all of the support I've received from all of you. Enjoy the episode. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these golden eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of Paintball Fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, and even Youth 3v3. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including first-place semi-pro team PaintballFit.com. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with Skull Monkeys Paintball. Equip, engage, excel. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with Compete. Compete is a Texas-based brand by Jell Stewart of professional team AC Diesel that provides custom jerseys, pants, headbands, straps, tech shirts, and any other soft goods to help individuals and teams compete at the highest level. Support Texas Paintball and message Compete on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits Podcast for 10% off your entire order. In the Pits is sponsored by FU Athletics, created with a purpose and focused on building a better you. We are a brand that matters in your workout, and every purchase gives back to cancer research. Go to thefuathletics.com and use code INTHEPITS25 for 25% off of your order. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot now offers first-in-line photo and video editing, 20% off Get Dat Shot merch, and 20% off prints to all teams that wear the Get Dat Shot logo on their jersey. Message GetDat_shot on Facebook or Instagram to become a Get Dat Shot program team. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Welcome, everyone, to episode 56 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and a new special guest. I'm Christian Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans. In this episode, we are going in the pits with Doug Bryant, player and captain for Elite. Doug, how are you doing this evening?
Good. Thank you for having me, Kristen.
Dude, good to have you. I've been, I've seen you around for a couple of years now. I know we've played each other a lot at USXBLs who scrimmage each other a bunch, but I don't really know your story because you're all the way over there in freaking Lubbock, man.
Yeah, we're a long ways away.
Yeah, well, time to shine the spotlight over there a little bit. I think y'all are definitely more than deserving. So let's get right into it. This first question is brought to us by XTPL Events. So for those listening that maybe don't know about you, how long have you been involved in the Texas paintball scene?
I think I started in about 96. Uh, I started a paintball team called Friction in about 97. We played GTS, PMI, some EMPPLs, stuff like that back in the day against, all the killer teams that would fly in, stuff like that. It was pretty rough back in the day.
I've heard so many stories, like especially from some of the guests that have been around a while, like Mark Johnson, Colt Roberts, Alex Martinez. Like they said, like it was rough back then.
Yes, and we used to see Colt and Dixon and Archie on Fuel back in the day, way back there. All these guys that have made it a long time, made it from the beginning. It was rough. Addicted was pretty hard to handle. Bushwhackers, all those guys. It was a beating. You had to have tough skin to play in Texas paintball.
Definitely. I mean, that's why so many of those names are still around and still competing at the very top level. Like, and look at the success that they're having. I mean, X Factor just made the finals. Mark Johnson and AC Diesel are a top team, and a lot of those guys are still around. And even though they're getting older, like they're still at the very top of the game.
Absolutely. we I guess we were just back then it was novice and amateur. So there was only two divisions that you could play, and we played novice, and that was a tournament every weekend. You could play, Steve Rabikoff's deal was the GTS, and we also got invited to play PMI. Rich and Gerald Garcia were playing back then, trying to make a name. Grayson and those guys hadn't quite come along yet. I got to meet them a little later in life. Super, super good. I got a funny story about that.
Let's hear it.
So we won a free entry to a PMI. So we went and played amateur and did really well against the Bushwhackers. Stephen Hicks, really good friend. I got to shoot him. All those guys, and I kind of got seen, and so did a couple of other guys from a team called Wrath out of Lubbock. So we were invited to go try out for Havoc. A couple of us. Well, of course, we're all poor up here, so we all ride together. Some of them were asked to try out for Texas Storm, which was the following day. So a couple of us make it on the Havoc team, which Gerald and Rich is running. And the following day, we're all together anyway. So we all go to the Texas Storm tryout. Well, needless to say, that didn't really work out for any of us. I think I don't think any of us got picked up. We didn't mean it the way it kind of went out. It shook out, but it was very interesting how quick the word travels. And they didn't pick up any of us, I don't think of.
Gotcha.
That it was pretty interesting. After that, we I don't know if you know Michael Mora.
I don't know that name. Sorry.
He's a pretty good known figure back in the day. He knew Gerald Rich, Ryan, all them guys pretty well. And I guess in the shade of everything, they were training this team that Ryan Brandt and Grayson Golf were on. And he set up a practice with them before we were going to go to an NPPL. And those guys, a bunch of kids come walking out, 12, 13, 14 years old. And we're like, should be, you know, we should hang here. We should be all right.
Mhm.
Them guys mopped us up at like every single point. And we were like, who are these guys? And they're like, we're training them to play the new format X ball. And it was insane how good these kids were. And they'd been practicing for almost a whole year and just killed us. And we were pretty good at the time. And anyway, after that, they started having tryouts, and I got somehow I found out. I mean, people come from everywhere, Kristen, to try out because these two pro players were building a what you would call, I guess, an amateur team, and it was called B Slap, and I made it, and we went on from there. Ended up, I guess it doesn't show on my APPA, but we lost in D3 to Edmonton Impact, which is now everybody knows who they are. But we lost to them in the prelims. We fought our way back. I think we won 4 matches in a day, at least 3. Had to play them at 8 a.m. in the morning. And by the second half, we couldn't hang with them. They beat us. But second at World Cup for first national event with them guys was pretty good, I thought.
Man, you've got some serious star power in your history there. And I'd love to hear what are some. So I think your PB Leagues profile only goes back to 2004. So what are some of the teams that you've played on over the years?
I started Friction in I think 97, and then we went. We played for quite a while. Sorry, I took some cliff notes.
I love it. You came prepared.
Yeah, I'm trying. Then we went. Well, and after that, ended up taking a long break after the B Slap deal. I moved on and played with them guys. Took a hiatus, and get married, have kids, get a career going, get a divorce, just like everybody does, I think. But then we came back and got all the old crew together. I think J.R. Romero was kind of the ringleader on that deal. We started Hate Crew. They were very small tournaments, but I think we ran around and won 6 or 8 in a row. Did very well. We had a sponsor that chingulated us and took about $5,000 from us, but we went on to start playing the AES. And we're just playing these small 3-man, 5-man, no layout kind of situations, and went to the AES. I think it was Ryan Gray that started the AES. We won the first one. Everything was rock along, doing well there. Played a couple of those, seconds, some fours. Then we weren't playing so hot. Everybody had somewhere to practice. We were really not practicing that much. We just get together, throw everybody together, and let's go play. So we ended up finding an airball field. I purchased an airball field. We started practicing on a friend of mine's land, and it just kind of started from there.
Sweet.
And we kind of branched off. That kind of died. I think JR moved. We lost a couple of players. I started Elite when I started the field.
Gotcha. So the team. So you're also the owner of the field as well.
Yes, sir. I own Elite Paintball here in Lubbock.
Very nice. Yeah, I love how you're just like, the sponsor stole a couple grand from us and then dip. Like, it's crazy how that's like a origin story for so many teams here in Texas. It's just like someone just dips with the cash and we're like, hey, it's to be expected.
Man, we just all the guys that we were playing with, it was all the talent. Alex Yang, Todd Miller, Chris Vandevalde, J.R. Romero, me. We just wanted to win. The money was nice because then we could play for free. We could come back and play. But that was a huge deal. That was kind of a deal breaker. It kind of broke the whole momentum of the team. But then we started Elite Paintball and just kind of moved through it and went on. And I guested with a couple of teams at some PSPs here and there. But pretty much I've been with Elite since, I don't know, we opened in 2011, January of 2011. And that team's been together ever since.
And that y'all have got to be one of the longest standing teams in Texas then. I mean, that's like 12 years now, going on 13 years. Like there are very few teams in Texas that have that kind of history, and most of them are at the very top level, like San Antonio X Factor. I mean, maybe Austin Notorious can lay claim to that kind of longevity, but not very many teams.
Sure, and we don't have a crop of players like you guys do in San Antonio to pick from. We have longevity here. We're pulling Perry Reed from Amarillo. We're pulling Tristan Sykes out of Hobbs, New Mexico. We used to have Rowdy out of Midland. We're having to pull from a long distance to keep this team together. But if you look at the longevity of it, the base core people, Chris Vandevalde, Doug Bryant, Kyle Coulter, Makamura, we're all right here, Lubbock based. And there's really nobody to practice. We just make it happen, man.
Man, that's such an awesome story though. Like just being homegrown like that, and everybody just kind of sticks together. And you know what? We're like, hey, we're all here, and we're doing this thing.
Yep,
love it.
Yes, sir.
And we got a lot of people in the chat definitely sending a lot of love. I think it's a lot of your crew. From Tristan Sykes, he's saying Dougie, Eli Calvo saying, what up, fellas? Is this the Lubbock crew interview? Yes, it is. Dougie Fresh from username Regular Dude. Lawson Benedict from Houston, he's here. West Texas in the mix. Yeah, finally getting the spotlight over there. So this question is brought to us by Skull Monkeys Paintball, which oddly enough, they're like a team from New York. And shout out to you guys for finding this podcast and supporting it. So tell us, what was it that got you into paintball to begin with?
I had a buddy right out of high school that was he was a big car guy, and let's go try paintball. I said, well, just like everybody else, kind of similar story. I said, well, let's go try it. Man, as a matter of fact, that's where I met Chris Vandevalde. He was running the indoor paintball field. We played at night. And, man, from the minute we got started, I was hooked. Couldn't really afford a gun, ran a rental for a long time, but just showed up until he offered me a job. But if it wasn't for my buddy Matt, I would have never known paintball even existed.
And it's crazy how powerful the bug is, right? Once you experience it for the first time, once it catches on, once you shoot that first person, and you're just like, oh wait, this is awesome. Why isn't everybody doing this?
Exactly. You get them goosebumps and the adrenaline's pumping, and yes, it's awesome. We try to as a field owner, we try to spread the sport, and make everybody do all we can to get everybody to try to play it. And I've gotten the biggest long-time relationships through paintball. knowing all these people, the friendships that I have now today were, one of the longest running ones is with the person that introduced me to paintball, and we're to this day still best friends. It's paintball is something I wish everybody would try, and the community is outstanding. It's amazing.
100%. And especially here in Texas, there's some of the best people around. Like not just best people in paintball, just like in general, we got some really amazing individuals here in Texas.
Yes, absolutely. And like we don't know each other very well. We practiced a couple of times in San Antonio. Man, hands down, some of the best people in the world.
100%. And you just know, like, oh, you don't know who they are. You maybe barely even know their name, but you can travel anywhere in Texas. You're like, oh, that guy's a Texas paintball player. Oh, he's probably a stand-up dude.
Yep. You're right.
100%. So this next question is brought to us by our newest supporter of the show, Mariachi Águilas de Oro, which is the Golden Eagles. They service and perform here in Austin and the surrounding areas. So go check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So having been in the scene since 96?
Yes, sir. I think so. 96, 97.
Yeah, well, I was born in 1996, so if that tells you how long you've been in the game. So what are some things that you've noticed that have changed within the Texas scene over that time period, either for better or for worse?
In the Texas scene only?
Or just, in general, I know there's been a lot of changes over the last, 27 years.
I would say one of the coolest things they used to do in like MPPL and PSP was if you showed up, you got to play a pro team. You weren't expecting to win, but you could go home and tell all your buddies, hey, I got to play, I got to play Avalanche. I got to play Dynasty. I got to play, win, lose, or draw. You just tell them, hey, I got to play them pro guys. And it was great. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I kind of miss that. I think it's a big time camaraderie for like young up and coming players. I think it's good for them. Them guys are going to spank on you most of the time, but you take it with a smile on your face.
Definitely. I mean, shoot, I would love to get that opportunity to play some of those teams. Like, yeah, you're gonna get destroyed, or maybe you come out and you're the reason that they go home early.
You're right. And we fared pretty well against a couple of them in the MPPLs, and then we did not fare very well against some of them at MPPLs. But it's awesome because you look at what your lineup looks like, your schedule, and you think about that the whole time. Hey, third match we're playing so and so. I think it's good for the sport.
Yeah, definitely exciting. And I know some people every now and then you hear like, oh, we should just go back to a big open division. And I'm like, how ginormous of a gap, even just between like the top 8 pro teams and the rest of the pro teams, that gap is already massive, let alone like if they were stomping around in like D4 territory.
Oh yeah. Well, and like you said, in Texas, there was only 2 divisions, novice or amateur. So you pick how much you want to bite off. And the novice was full. You had a better chance going to amateur, but them guys were killers. You better have your shit together if you're going to step up into that big boy club.
100%. So a lot more people in the chat. Chris Vanderwald's in here. Chris Coe in the house. From Huba 852, Old Men Unite, Young Jerk 12, shout out West Texas, Emerald, sup, son of Crisco. Lots of love for Elite Paintball. Yeah, chat's popping off right now, giving you lots of support. So you played your first tournament back in 1996, and then you from like 2004 all the way until 2012, you had that big break in your career. What was it that brought you back?
Man, I got everything settled in my life, and the camaraderie that that pay. You miss that, the friendships that you make. Had to raise a kid, get everything up and running, get my career going, but the camaraderie brings you back. There's nothing. There's nothing like the paintball friendships that you make, and I miss it. I mean, once you get the bug, if you're true to it, I mean, it just sticks with you. You can't ever get out of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, they always say, right? Like you never quit, you just take long breaks.
Sure.
And
Yep. And
paintball.
we've all done that.
Yep. And I mean, just go on any of the public Facebook pages and just see any of the posts recently that are like, hey, I'm looking to get back in the game. I've been away for like 8 years or 5 years or 10, 20 years. Like they always come back.
Always. Yep. There ain't nothing like it. You can't beat it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I actually our newest sponsor, Mariachi Águilas de Oro, one of my friends from high school who he played and then he went away from the game for a while, and he last week he just got back in. He's been buying gear and coming out to play on Saturdays. So, same story with him. He's back in after a couple of years, and we welcome everybody back.
Go. Absolutely. Open arms.
So this question is brought to us by BEMRAPS. So your team, Elite Paintball, plays out all the way over in Lubbock, which aside from the Texas Tech University NCPA team, as far as I know, Elite, the team, is the only other team that plays out of the park. Is that the case, or what does the park look like on any given weekend?
We have lots of rec. Basis, but usually about 1 in 5 or 1 in 7 will kind of pick up the sport, buy their own equipment out of the pro shop, and give tournament paintball a try. But there is 2 teams running out of Elite right now. Oh, well, I'll take that back. 3. Elite Militia is also a D5 team that we've worked with. Elite, and then supposedly with the NCPA, is that what it's called? The
college league, yeah.
The collegiates, yeah. I guess that's gone, but we had right before the break there at the end, we had 6 or 8 of them guys trying to get together. I guess they're trying to make a new format for that. And them guys said they'll be back in the fall.
Sweet. Good to hear. Yeah, I know that there are a bunch of volunteers that kind of took up to reviving the college league. And I know like Texas A&M has their team again. And so, yeah, it's good to hear that Texas Tech's going strong. Hopefully we can really bring that back in Texas, because, man, when it was going for the college league in Texas, you had like 15 to 20 lines all going at each other from like 8 different colleges. It was insane.
It was. And all the players. And Cal's trying to head that up. He's going to Tech over here. I know he did an interview with a super cool guy. He's trying to get the Tech team back and up and running. So that'd be good if he can get it done. I'll support him all I can.
100%. Even though we know part of it's like, oh, Cal, we see you just wanting an excuse to go run down all these D5, poor beginner players. This is one more time, which, if it gets more people in the game, fair play.
Yep. They signed up, so that'd be good.
Absolutely. So, question, let's see, let's check out the chat real quick. Holy smokes. So many messages in the chat. Eli Calvo's actually asking about your field. So he's asking, is it, do you have to have a team in order to be able to play on the weekends? Is it invite only? Like, tell us a little bit more about playing at your field.
We're open Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6 for open play or tournament play. If you really want to play at an advanced level with the tournament guys or up and coming people, Sunday is usually the day that we have all them guys out there and kind of work with them and do that kind of deal. But we have 3 fields at this time that you can play rec, and we have an airball field. So they can come out anytime, Saturday or Sunday, noon to 6.
Sweet. Well, there you go, Eli. So I know that y'all are competing at USXBL this weekend. Are y'all going to be open, or are you shutting down for the weekend?
No, my daughter, she just graduated high school, and she's been working at the field since she was 10. She kind of runs it for me, so we will be open.
Sweet. So as far as the field goes, like, what was it that made you want to open your own paintball field?
That's a funny story in itself. We bought an airball field to practice on just for us. And then my fiance's youngest son said, "Hey, I want to have a paintball party for my birthday." So I ordered 10 guns, 10 masks, and 10 tanks. And Gunner Dotson and all his buddies come out, and they played for a while. And I was super excited, Christian. I was like, "All right, man, this dude's gonna get the bug. We're gonna play, and it's gonna be just so cool." When it was over, he walked over. I was like, "Well, do you like it?" And he was like, "It's all right." So I ended up with 10 guns, 10 masks, 10 tanks, a compressor, and an airball field. Next thing you know, we got Elite Paintball in Lubbock, Texas. But of course, like you said, they all come back. So he's made his rounds back and played several tournaments with us and does very well in the Snake. And he's on a hiatus now. He's trying to get his career together, but he's the one that started it all.
Love it. So just trying to put on a good show for the birthday party, and then it just became something bigger. So like after all of that happened, like how did you go from, hey, we're ordering all of this stuff, to, hey, we're opening every weekend for the general public?
That was that was tough. We couldn't find a location. I finally found Challenge Park used to be here in Lubbock, and they'd been closed for about 7 years. And I got my hands on that land, and then had to slowly but surely buy like a trailer and a place to store all the equipment, a place to put the compressor, tanks, extra tanks, this and that. But we got that done, and ended up at the old Challenge Park location. And we were there for about 8.5 years, and then we moved. But now we're in our 3rd location and very happy there. Things are good. But yeah, it was rough, man. I started in a little a little bumper pool trailer with 10 guns and a very small compressor and 1 tank. And we were doing private parties, and we didn't have any open play at all until we finally kind of got on our feet, and you know how the struggle is, just made our way up.
Well, just I mean, all of that takes time, and it sounds like y'all are pretty, up and running pretty well now. I know it's a very popular place for those that do live over in the area. So, talking a little bit more about your factory team, and this question is brought to us by Paintball Kumite, which is Colt Roberts training regimen. I know that y'all are going to have Colt Roberts coaching y'all on Sunday. So last season, Elite was a consistent top 5 team in the USXBL. And at all of the other tournament series that you play, you can usually find y'all playing in the playoffs. So what are some of the things that y'all are doing in general at practice to prepare for events, and or to just like work on your skills in terms of like drilling, who you're scrimmaging, things like that?
I'll be quite honest on that part. We practice with our D5 line. We don't do any drills to speak of. We just get together with all these guys that we've been playing with for years for the camaraderie. We don't get to see them. Everybody's got a life. They got kids. We play, Kristen, we play for hours. Then we drink beer for hour and a half, and then we all go eat. And if you put it on paper, the average age of the elite guys is got to be in the mid 30s. We do it for the camaraderie. You know, we enjoy it. Most of these guys are very they've been through it. Their field awareness is great. We know exactly where everybody's doing what and what they're good at. We just play good as a whole, you know, and we just live on that, to be honest. And none of these guys, my logo, I don't know what you call it exactly, but is no quit. And all these guys in their 30s, I'm in my late 40s, and none of them have any quit. They ain't going to stop. We go down there and battle with you guys in the heat and the humidity that we're not used to, but they don't stop. They have something to prove. We want to win. We love the competitiveness, but when we walk off the field, shaking hands with you guys or whatever the team it is, whoever it may be, we just like the camaraderie, all of us.
Well, I know that a big portion of becoming a better paintball team is that time spent together. And when y'all have been playing as long as you have, like, all of you guys have experience, which experience is so valuable in the sport of paintball. That's why you see guys like Dynasty, who a lot of them are pushing 40, like they're all at the very top of the game. And experience, especially over a very long period of time, will take you very far. I mean, other than that, it sounds like y'all are just built different.
Man, I don't know what it is, but I play with a bunch of really, really good guys. I'm pretty blessed to be in the position that I'm in, to have the friendships and camaraderie that I have with these guys. It's unheard of. You hear that family and you hear that family thing a bunch. We're not a family. We're just very tight knit West Texas paintball players.
For sure. Yeah, I got a lot of people in the chat echoing that. He said, let's see, Young Jerk 12 says, my boy Doug, a real killer, no doubt. Let's see. It sounds like Eli Calvo says that Odessa Outlaws are coming to Lubbock pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah. Huba852, he says, do you mean playing with our D5 team at weekends or beating up on our D5 team on the weekends?
A little of both. A little, it comes and go, you know. You know how it works.
Yeah, and then Tristan Sykes, he asks, what are drills?
He's right. We don't have. I did all that with B slapping those guys, smart parts. Man, it makes you better, but for that, we're just here to have fun.
Yeah,
we're not trying to win, you know, be pro or any of that, or I'm not anyway.
Yeah, he says you're just a drinking team that occasionally plays paintball. That sounds like the life. I was going to
say that.
Sounds like the
not
life.
Too bad.
So, so being all the way out in Lubbock, you guys probably feel a little bit disconnected from the rest of the Texas scene at times. So is there anything that you feel like the rest of Texas should know about paintball in Lubbock?
Well, I don't think we're that far disconnected with us owning a field and knowing all you guys, you know. We pretty well know, me and Chris know pretty much every field owner in Texas in one way or another. But we're just trying to build paintball here in Lubbock. We're not doing anything special. These guys just got a lot of heart. They play till they have no excuses. They play till they have no more, and you can't teach that. You can't buy that. It's just who they are. It's in their MO, I guess. There's nothing special going on here. We're just trying to keep paintball alive in Lubbock and show everybody, hey, here's paintball. It's going on in not just Texas, it's all over the United States. And if you play here, go try this field, and hopefully, X Factor, we tell them if you're in San Antonio, go see Jeff and those guys at X Factor. And they do the same for us. It's just a camaraderie, a family kind of situation.
I mean, we love it whenever y'all make the trip down. I think we scrimmaged y'all once last year. That was a fantastic scrimmage, and then y'all came and whooped up on everybody the at the event like the week after or something like that.
Y'all whooped up on us pretty bad at that scrimmage. I don't think we might have pulled 1 point, maybe. It was pretty rough.
Well, it sounded like we taught y'all our secrets, because then y'all took it to the house. Like, I think you got like third place at that event or something like that.
We did. We took all your knowledge and used it against everybody else.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's how scrimmages have to go sometimes. You don't want to be just not learning nothing. So
sure.
Sweet. So this next question is brought to us by FU Athletics. Go to thefuathletics.com. Use code INTHEPITS25 for 25% off of your order. So in your 27-year career, do you have a single favorite moment?
I have a couple. First and foremost, probably making it on to B-Slap and knowing where that team was going to go, seeing that, how that was going to go, with watching all these people show up for tryouts and not making it, this and that. That was a huge accomplishment in my career. Second of all would be winning the PSP Dallas with the Elite guys, which that was pretty huge. We went on from we kind of had a falling off for a little while. With USXBL started in like 2013. We didn't do so well. We didn't fare very well there. And then we ended up winning that very first event the next year because we really worked hard for it. That was a big deal. And then I guess lastly was winning the Masters 3-man with we got to play with Lamar, Stephen Hicks, Chris Vandevalde. That was a huge moment later in my career.
Awesome. I mean, those are all huge moments. Was Patrick Rayborn on that team when y'all won PSP?
No, but he was on the USXBL team that we won the championship. We didn't play an event all year. And that was in, when was that?
Say like 2012 or something like that.
2018.
2018, okay.
2018. Yeah, we rocked along there and ended up beating the the Hurricanes, Louisiana Hurricanes, in the finals. We did very well against them guys, and they asked us, "Where y'all been all year?" We said, "What? We're just a bunch of old guys from Lubbock, drink a lot of beer and have a paintball problem."
There you go. Yeah, I know Patrick Rayborn. He was really looking forward to this episode. He says hi.
Hi, Rayborn.
Tristan Sykes in the chat. He said, "Check, Rayborn. We got to check that dude. We got to test him for peds." Hey man, paintball don't test. Let's keep it that way.
And he's super good. Y'all ended up with a phenomenal player. I wish I could keep him. If he wouldn't have moved away, he would have changed Lubbock paintball for real. Oh, he is phenomenal now.
Believe me, we know what we have, and we are holding on to him and not letting go. All right, let's see. Eli
That's
in the
good.
chat, he's saying, "Oh, the West Texas Wranglers are coming out, and that's the team out of Odessa. I think I said Odessa Outlaws earlier, but it's the West Texas Wranglers that's coming up."
Wranglers.
Gotcha. Yeah, Huba852, he says his favorite moments are going to the casino till 4 a.m. before events has got to be a favorite.
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
Sounds like the life, man. So this next question is brought to us by Hydra. So you guys are coming down to San Antonio to compete in the USXBL JT Open here in a few days. You've got Colt Roberts to coach you on Sunday. How are you feeling about the squad going in, and who are one or two players to watch out for on your team?
Well, like we discussed before the podcast started, there's lots of outside influence that's been telling me that we need a coach. People that try to help you have really influenced me on that, and we just can't. We've had really good luck with several people. Mike Diaz has helped us. We've been successful when he's there. Now he's moved on to Shut Up or Trying. For the opportunity to have Colt, I don't think you could have anybody better in your pit. I really don't. Y'all have had him. He's done very well for y'all. Every time I see him at an event, he can foresee things that you can't while you're playing, and you just got to have that kind of leadership in the pits, and you got to leave it to somebody that's got that kind of experience. It's going to be really good. As the players, I got more than one or two. We have the return of Tristan Sykes. He's always been a solid player for us. We have Nick Myers with Parker. You always got to watch out for Kyle Coulter. And the rest of these guys are solid at everything that they do. But I would say them four guys are probably going to shine at this event for us.
Sweet. Well, I'll be on the webcast for this event, so I'm looking forward to saying their names a whole bunch.
Maybe you'll say mine once or twice. Maybe. I hope.
Yeah, hopefully. So we're getting to the end of our show here. This question is brought to us by Get That Shot. And he's a photographer from the Valley. Recently went pro media for the NXL. So message him on Facebook or Instagram for media coverage at any of the Bunkerfest events or at any of the NXL events. So are there any Texas-based either teams, players, brands, projects that have caught your attention lately? Who do you think in Texas deserves more recognition for what they're doing? And it doesn't have to be a player. It doesn't have to be a team. It could be like if they have their own brand. It could be anybody involved in the Texas paintball scene in any capacity. Who do you think deserves more recognition?
I think somebody that needs some recognition that I don't know if he's gotten it, but I'm going to give him some. We've known Charles Dean since the inception of Elite. We did some jerseys with him back when he was with Social. He did very well, and now we're back with him again. Just a great guy, a great human being. Does everything he can for paintball. Did us really well. Shout out to Charles Dean. Just a good dude.
Yeah, shout out to Charles Dean. We back when I was on the Texas Longhorns, I knew him and talked to him back when he was with Social, and now he's doing really cool things with Austin Notorious.
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
trying to support Texas pro teams. I think that's great.
Absolutely. So let's see. Let's look in the chat. Let's make sure we didn't miss any of these questions before we sign off. See. Let's see. Tristan Sykes, he says, Doug's a killer. Just give him the MVP award when he shows up. Don't let him fool you. Eli Calvo's question is, does your field also have a pro shop?
Yes, sir, we do. We carry pretty much we're not as big as X Factor, but we try to carry low end to high end guns. Stock about 10 or 12 markers, plenty of masks, lenses, pants, Hydra knee pads, just the stuff everybody seems to like. Good loaders, spire, die, kind of whatever you like. We pretty much have a decent selection to be, a smaller Lubbock pro shop. And if I don't have it, I can order it.
There you go. All right. So that, we're here at the end of our show. So this final question is brought to us by Compete, which is Jell Stewart's brand. Message him on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits for 10% off of your order of soft goods. So Doug, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before you sign off?
First and foremost, thank you for having me, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody watching. See you guys at the USXBL.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll see everybody there. All right. So, yeah, that does it for us. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. We got a lot of people in the chat giving a lot of love. Thank you all so much for joining us live. Be sure to go follow Doug at dbryant999 on Instagram. Also follow Elite, and that's at Elite_paintball1 on Instagram. What other guests would y'all like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on youtube.com/@inthepitspaintballpodcast, and recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. I want to give a shout out to my partner and sponsor tier subscribers on Patreon. We got FU Athletics, Get That Shot, Paintball Kumite, Compete, BEMRAPS, Skull Monkeys Paintball, Hydra, XTPL events, and our newest member, Mariachi Aguilas de Oro. So we will see you all next week for episode 57, where we will have Ryan Polito. He's the owner of Paintball Trading Cards. He's also in charge of the live stream for the WCPPL, and we'll be doing that as well for the USXBL. And he does a couple other things that are pretty cool too. So we'll get him on. And if you're at USXBL this weekend, be sure to either come say hi to me in the tower or tune in live on, I believe they're going to be streaming on YouTube, the entire thing. So we will see you all then. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Doug, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.